Hey you guys, welcome back to LJ Woodworks. My name is Todd. In this week's video, we are going to be going over what you need to make an epoxy resin pen, just like this one. So I'm going to cover the stuffs that are required, some things that are creature comforts, and then we're actually going to turn this pen. So stick around and see how it goes. Alright, so what do we need to make a resin pen? Well, we need a resin blank. See, I got several options here. These came from Jake Thompson at jakeblanks.com. Hopefully I'll remember to put his website up there. Next thing we're going to need is a pen kit. This particular one comes from Strong Ink. This is their Sierra pen. You're going to need a drill bit that matches your pen kit to drill the hole so that tube can go in. You're going to need the bushing set for your particular pen kit. You're going to need a pen mandrel. And as far as what you actually need, that's it. Now, there are some things that you may also want to have. One of those is the pen mandrel saver. So instead of using this knurl knob to try to tighten down on your resin blank, it just slides in and then the tailstock locks it in place. Jacob's chuck. So when this guy is mounted on the chuck, this allows you to draw a straight hole. Speaking of mounting on the chuck, set of pen jaws. That will hold that. Let's see if I can get it in there. Perfectly square for when you drill the hole right down the center. Now if you don't use that and you're using a hand drill or a drill press, you just got to make sure that you drill straight through. Don't come out the side or something like that. One thing we don't want to use is a pen reamer. With the resin, it can cause chip out, and you don't want to chip out the little portion right next to the tube. And the final, well, not final, but one thing that's highly recommended is to paint your tube hole. It means once you do drill that hole, spray a little paint in there. When resin gets thin, it becomes kind of see-through, and you don't want to see the brass tube through the resin. Now the final thing, depending on how complex a pen you're making, you may want to print out the instructions. Next thing we're going to do, get the tube out of our pen kit, line him up. I think I set him down pretty good. And we're going to cut our blank down to size. Check it to make sure. I'd say we're good. We've got our blank in the pen jaw, Jacob chuck, drill bit for our pen kit, all mounted up and ready to go. I'm going to slide this guy forward. And there we go. Drilled the whole way through. I got the Jacob's chuck back out because I typically do this with a hand drill. Grab that with a hand drill, and then the other hand holds sandpaper. And then I realized I needed yet another hand for the camera, so it wasn't working out so good. So we're just going to mount this back up in the Jacob's chuck. And this is 60 grit. 80 works just as well. And we're just going to rough this up. Give the CA glue something to hold on to. Basically, the CA glue will go down in those grooves, lock against the epoxy, lock the tube in place. Okay, so now we're at the point where we're going to paint our tube hole. And the reason we're doing that, and I'm going to show you this on a wood pen, is you see how thin the wood is compared to the brass. Right there. So with resin, depending on how much pigment whoever made the resin blank used, that can become see-through right on these edges. And we don't want that. So, get yourself a little hobby spray paint and give it a couple squirts. Trying to do this in front of the camera is actually kind of difficult. There you go. It's that easy. So our tubes are now painted. The tube itself is ready. So next, we're going to put the CA thick on the tube and get it set. And these are just Harbor Freight nitrile gloves. You only have to glue your fingers together once before you start using those. When you put it in, just give it some twists back and forth to spread that glue around. And set it flush. I think I skipped over sandpaper in the beginning, but you are going to need sandpaper. You're going to need to basically go from 80 grit all the way up into the thousands when you're dealing with the resins. So this is the micro mesh set. It goes all the way up to 12,000. And then after that, you'll use a polish of some kind. Said I skipped over it since most of us wood turners have that already. Another option for that would be like a Zona paper. Alright, now it's time. We're going to sand away the excess to get back to the tube. You want to see shiny brass on both sides. This is a Creature Comfort. You don't need this thing. You could hand sand it. You could use a random orbital sander. You can set up a sanding station on the lathe. Lots of ways. I have this, so I'm going to use it. Plus it's got the dust collection, so I don't have to breathe this stuff in. Alright, gave that a quick spritz just to show you. That's what I mean by shiny brass on each side. So now we know this is completely flush. Time to head to the lathe. The pen kit that you were using, typically the instructions will tell you how to set up your bushings. For this particular one, it wants me to use 2 7mm. Then the bushing that came with the kit, I shouldn't say with the kit, you have to purchase that separate typically. Then your blank, bushing for the pen kit, and then another 7. And lock it down. Just like that. 7mm, 7mm, bushing for this kit, blank, bushing for this kit, 7mm, pen saver mandrel. Easy. Next thing to discuss is what tool we're going to use. I'm going to be using the Easy Wood. This is the mid-size rougher with the negative rake carbide. So if you can see it, the edges are angled down. This is what's recommended by Easy Wood for turning resin. Same rules apply, parallel to the floor, right on center. So let's get started. You can tell we're still not round because of the chips that we're getting. Once we get round, we're going to get the long streamers. They're starting to get round, and that is what happens. Resin turning is messy, so you'll be doing a lot of stopping to clean this stuff off. Just the nature of what it is. Alright, as we get down here towards the end, I like to take nice, easy shavings and get close to the bushing, but not to the bushing. So I got ever so slight of a lip right there. Because remember, when you sand, you're still going to be removing material. So I've got my 80 grit sandpaper. After that, we'll jump to 150, 240, 320, 400. Dry. 80 grit, the first grit you use is always going to do most of the work, so you'll spend the longest time here. So since sanding is boring, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through most of this. Okay, that is what it looks like after the first round of sanding. That side feels good. Still a little bit of a lip there. Might work that a little more. 120. Now the reason I was going this way was just to make sure I don't have any scratches still running around the blank. That lets me know the entire blank is now up to the 120. If I still had deep scratches going that way, that would be the 80 grit still in there and I had to do more sanding. Hope that makes sense. I think you guys get the idea. We're going to jump to the wet sanding. Alright, I went ahead and finished the dry sanding up to 400. Now we're going to start wet sanding, starting again at 400. And 600. From there, we're going to switch over to the micro mesh.
So the micro mesh pads start out at 1200 and go all the way up through 12,000. I'll bring you back once we get to 12,000. So here we are with the 12,000 grit pad. Gonna spend a little bit of extra time here just to make sure there's no scratches left from the previous grits.
Alright, I'd say that's looking pretty darn good. My next step, Yorkshire microfine grit. You could also use some Meguiar's Ultimate Polish or Plastex. Both of those basically do about the same thing. Start out around 800 RPM. Kind of buff it in. And go full speed. That black color is coming off the bushings, so don't worry about that. So that's starting to look real good. For my final step, just using some wax. Let me get you nice and close. So it's looking pretty darn good. I don't know how this is going to turn out on the camera. Hopefully you can see it pretty good. Alright, let's get it assembled. So when assembling pens, I use a pen press. When I first started out, I used a bench vise. Lots of different ways to do it. I just prefer that now. Now the one headache with the Sierra kits is trying to get this lined up. And that's all the Sierra kits. And you see how the clip wants to push it out of alignment. If you can see that right there. So we'll probably have to monkey with it a little bit. There we go. That is set. And that is our Sierra pen.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Now you know what you need, what you don't need, and some things that make life a little easier, so you can go out and make your own resin pens. And for anybody thinking about making and selling these, you could probably get between 35 and 45, depending on your location and the venue you're at.